why would AOC be invited to an international security conference? It boggles the mind for what
Because
gravitas she has.
because she's going to run against Chuck Schumer for Senate, and she thinks she's going to win, and then she thinks she's going to either in 2028 or in 2000, I don't know, 32, she thinks she's going to run for president. And moreover, she thinks that the Europeans, after the Greenland incident, are angry at Trump, and therefore they're going to be very receptive to someone like her who's going to come in and, like Hillary did there, and trash him. But the problem she has is twofold. She knows nothing. Nothing. She doesn't know anything. She was a barista that was kind of cute and glib, and she got elected in a surprise win where nobody really took her seriously. And then she went into the Latina DEI and the squad, and she never did. And she never did any homework. She doesn't know anything. So when they ask her a question about the defense of Taiwan, how long would we have an audience if you asked me just now about AOC and I answer you like AOC did? I would say, Jack, well, of course, as you know, it's a very important question you asked, Jack, and I've been thinking about the conference, and it's important, and we worry about it, and it's something, that I've thought a lot about.
Right.
Well, we wouldn't have an audience, and we shouldn't have an audience in about
Correct.
24 hours. Well, that's what she did. She didn't know anything about Taiwan. She knows nothing of the history of Taiwan. She doesn't know the history of the Korean War. She doesn't know the Nixon administration's crisis with the islands off. She didn't know anything about that. And so she thought she was going to have a presence, and it kind of boomeranged. The other problem she had, the second was the Europeans are foxy, cagey. They're not stupid people. They're some of the smartest, most skilled, self-interested people in the world. Every time I talk to I think I've been to Europe almost every summer for 40 years. And every time I talk to a European, I always say to myself, this guy or this woman is the most, I don't mean sneaky, but the most sophisticated, complex, careful, 500 alternate agendas, subtext. Why aren't these people running the world like they used to? Because they're very educated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is their boilerplate about Trump is not the same about their subtext about Trump, because they know deep down inside that Trump was right. Yeah. That they, as Obama called it, they leech off us. He said they were freeloaders, to be specific. And they have more people than we do. They have about 150 or more million people than it does the United States. And yet they have no armament. And this was the embryo of the Western military tradition. And, they destroyed Europe twice. And and when a Western army fights a Western army, it's horrific, as they reminded us. So they understand that they need deterrence. They understand that what Merkel did in Germany ruined the continent almost. They understand that the Islamic populations are not acculturating, assimilating, integrating. They know all that. They know that you don't really base an economy in Germany on solar power. Every time I'm there, I clap my hands when I see the sun, for 5 minutes. So my point is that when she went over there and schmoozed with everybody and thought she was going to get, all she appealed to was the far left, and maybe some opportunistic Europeans that would like to use her and say, yeah, but deep down inside, the idea that Trump is creating this huge economy, that he's going to build up the military, that he's going to confront China, and that for all of his talk about backing out of Ukraine, he's still there. They understand that. And what he did with Iran, they approve. And if he takes out that theocracy. They will talk about imperialism and undeclared wars and, brinksmanship, but they will like it. And she doesn't understand that.
Yeah.
Well, Hillary too. Hillary was there, you remember, and
Yeah.
she attacked a Czech diplomat, kind of, and said that she
got
didn't
into it with her. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said, "You don't like Trump." He said, "No, I don't." And then he was really good, and he was an illustration of what I'm talking about. It was much more nuanced. He understood that Trump. There was a reason why the head of NATO called Trump Daddy.
Yeah. Well, we saw again why she was unelectable. Also,
unelectable.
What a harpy!
It's a euphemism.
Well, a harpy.
Harpies were mythological creatures, at Lake Stymphalus.
I'm sorry to detract
the Stymphallian birds,
comparing them to her.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I've been to Lake Stymphalus, and the Stymphallian birds were, remember, one of the labors of Hercules, and you see them on red and black figure contemporary pottery of the 5th century, and they're grotesque figures, but I would say that it's unfair to them to compare them with Hillary.
My apologies. Well,
Medusa is a better mythological.
Okay.